Welcome back to the Slasher Siblings podcast. I'm your co-host Cicely.
I'm your host Hayden.
Today we're talking about the movie Thanksgiving. Yup, you heard it. Thanksgiving. It came out literally today, which would be November. What's today?
The 17th.
17th. This year, obviously. It's rated R.
Very much.
Very much so. An hour and 47 minutes. And it got a 7.1 out of 10 on IMDb.
It doesn't seem like an hour 47.
It
was
was
fun
an easy
enough.
watch.
Yeah, it
went by
fun
quickly.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah. We went to the theater and watched it.
Literally 2 hours ago.
Yeah, and now we're here. So, definitely crazy. crazy watch. After a Black Friday riot ends in tragedy, a mysterious Thanksgiving-inspired killer terrorizes Plymouth, Massachusetts, the birthplace of the infamous holiday. I didn't even pre-read that paragraph, and I killed it. And Patrick Dempsey's in it, everybody.
He's a good actor.
Go ahead and watch that.
So go ahead and read last week's question.
What room number, also the title of the movie, is a paranormal hotspot in this 2007 film starring John Cusack? Answer, 1408.
If you got it, good job.
Good job.
If not, better luck next time.
Better luck to ya.
So, we'll get into the movie now. So yeah, Thanksgiving. This was pretty fun for horror fans. It was a pretty easy watch. It didn't feel like an hour 47.
Yeah.
It felt shorter because of how, like attached to the movie I was. It didn't feel. I mean, hour 47 isn't all that long.
It's really not.
But it still felt like I was there for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, like...
If I wasn't like writing my stuff in my phone and I could see the time, I would have thought it was like 30 minutes had gone by because things just kept happening.
It being a new movie, you're like, oh...
Hour 47.
I don't know how good this is going to be because sometimes I feel like it's a hit or miss.
Yeah. But, yeah, let's get into it. So, right in the beginning, the cop shows up to the house before Black Friday.
Yeah.
He shows up for dinner, and I thought it was really funny. He was like, yeah, so we're looking for a missing person. It's golden brown skin and no head.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And he's like, oh, yeah, I can serve it up on a silver platter or something. I thought that was really funny because he was obviously talking about a turkey, but the way that it was like filmed or whatever made it seem like he was actually looking for a missing person or something.
I didn't get the joke at first. And I was like, oh.
Now I get it.
Turkey, right.
Turkey, right. I can serve it up on a silver platter
yeah,
for
I get it.
Then, they have a little dinner and they do a tiny speech and he starts to carve the turkey. He has to go into work. He works at like a Walmart, basically. And whenever he gets to work, we see the Black Friday crowd just standing there. It's very accurate representation of not only a Black Friday crowd, everyone just huddled together waiting to get inside and like pushing each other.
Yeah.
But it was also a very Massachusetts, like Boston.
Lots of cussing.
Well, but like it's very much how Boston acts and like Massachusetts acts.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, fuck you, what the fuck, let me in there, like stuff like that. That's very much how.
It was pretty intense.
I'm a big fan of Boston sports, so I see how they act and stuff, and that was pretty accurate from what you can see from just watching sports on TV and stuff. And I thought that was pretty accurate and funny at the same time. It was also ending very tragically because the teenagers from the dinner got inside the store because their friend like a friend, or no, the dad owns the store.
the main character's dad owns the store.
Yeah, he owns the store, so he got in the side, and then so they're inside, and the jocks are like taunting everyone outside because they can't get in, and they push through the gate, the barrier. And he locks the door.
Yeah.
Just let the people in first. Just at that point, let them in.
Yeah.
You only have like 7 minutes left anyway. But they start pressing up against the glass so much that it shatters. And no one gives a shit.
Nobody cares.
No one cares. One dude slices his jugular.
He slices his neck on a piece of glass sticking out.
Well, here, first, the glass shatters into the security guard's face, cuts his face up. He falls to the ground because the doors got broken in, and he starts getting trampled on.
Yeah.
Then the glass slices the one dude's jugular.
Yeah.
And then everyone's still trampling, and the dude is still running with a sliced open neck, and he wants that waffle maker. And he grabs it. Like, this scene is total anarchy.
And somebody steals the waffle maker off
of the dead dude. No one cares about all these dead people laying around.
A lady dies.
The guy dies. The security guard, Doug.
Yeah.
The guy that gets his neck sliced, and the lady are all dead. I'm sure there's other casualties throughout, the store or whatever, but, like, no one cares. And it's kind of funny to see, like, how accurate that is, too. Not so much the killing part, but more of, like, how much they don't give a shit. When it comes to Black Friday, all bets are off.
Yeah.
People running into each other, not apologizing, not giving a shit. And it's just, it was pretty funny how accurate that part at least was, But the YouTube video into the newscast I thought was kind of funny too, because it was that jock guy, Evan is his name. I think it was Evan or something.
Something like that.
And he was recording
something real basic like Evan.
And
I'm just kidding, Evan, if you're listening. I love you.
And he was recording, like, everyone dying, basically. And he uploads it to YouTube with all these, like, jump cuts and funny memes.
What did he say about the
this bitch don't get waffles or something.
This bitch isn't getting any waffles, and it's a dead person.
It's the dude that got the waffle maker stolen off of him.
This bitch ain't getting no waffles. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, at the end with the air horns and stuff.
It's like, that's so stupid.
But then it goes into that newscast where it's like, oh, this happened, 1 year ago to this week or something. And I thought it was real cool that even though we just saw it, there was like a little recap from the news. They were like, this is, the tragedy and devastation, what I was trying to say, that happened 1 year ago, last Black Friday. And no one's still cares. They have the store open, and they have the sale.
They're gonna make money, so they're gonna keep it open.
Yeah. The new deputy.
Yep.
That was really funny, introducing him that way.
Yeah.
He just pulled into the parking lot in his giant truck, and who was that? Was that a detective or something? That Chinese guy in the movie? Who was he? Was he a coroner, a doctor?
I think he was. I don't know exactly what his job title was, but he's an important person.
Yeah, he was at all the crime scenes, so he had to be something. But he cut him off, and he just opened the door and said, "Fuck you," and shut the door, like a very Massachusetts thing to do. That's just how they are. And he goes in, and we're introduced to the. What is it, John Carpenter?
I think it's Carpenter. Well, John Carpenter is,
Oh, yeah, he's the director.
He's the director that made Halloween. What was it? Hold on. What was it?
And it was like John Carter. No, it wasn't John Carter either.
It very much resembled the name John Carpenter, but it wasn't, because we know who John Carpenter is. He made the Halloween movies.
Yeah. So, we get introduced to that mask, and it's obviously going to be like a very big thing in the movie, like a big center point to the movie. That mask, basically. And not only are we introduced to the mask and the deputy at the same time, but we're
John Carver.
But we're also kind of introduced to the lady from the Black Friday incident, who wasn't it that lady who stole the waffle maker off the dead guy? She was the waitress.
No, I don't think it was her, actually.
Oh, okay. Well,
she had a cart. And she was just...
Oh, she killed the lady.
Yes, she killed the lady, snapped her neck. That's why she's dead.
Yeah, the waitress killed the wife of Mitch and the girlfriend of the sheriff. Yeah.
Yes.
And, so the waitress ends up being the first victim as well, too. Which is kind of ironic, but... So they have a group lunch... Right. Oh, Bobby, the boyfriend of Jessica, the main character, gets his arm snapped in half, and he's a baseball player, and he loses they call it the golden arm. So he disappears for a year, apparently, just ghosts everybody. So they're having a group lunch there, and Ryan, her new boyfriend, shows up, and she catches a glimpse of Bobby. That was definitely Bobby, right?
That was Bobby, yeah.
Like, that stupid haircut.
That was Bobby.
Was, like, pretty indistinguishable.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was ugly haircut, by the way.
I agree.
That was awful. But, Ryan shows up, and to kind of gain favor with the other friends, he pulls out the...
I kind of liked Ryan better.
I did, too.
But I think I kind of like Ryan better because he's in the zombie movies. Zombies versus, like vampires. What is it?
I don't know.
It's like a Disney thing. He's in the zombie... I'll look it up. Keep going.
And he pulls out... Actually, it's funny. It was the Massachusetts team. The Boston... New England. Duh. The Patriots versus Steelers game is what it was, and he pulls tickets out, and he says at the 50-yard line or something like that. But, at that moment, we catch a glimpse of Bobby. He must have returned already, which is kind of, weird at this point in the movie.
Yeah.
But this is also when the killer takes his first victim, which is the waitress. In a very gruesome and funny fashion. And by the end of the movie, if we would watch it again, knowing at the end, you don't find out the killer till the very end of the movie.
You could figure it out.
If you really paid attention.
Really, because I even said to Jesse, well, we'll talk about that at the end.
There was a couple people I was going back and forth from. Anyway, we'll get to that at the end. But if you go back and watch it again, he's very brutal to these people.
Yeah.
Very brutal.
Nasty.
But he comes in, the mask is on the counter, she throws it away, and he tries attacking her, shoves her head in the sink with water in it, opens up the freezer door, and just shoves her face onto the frozen door. And
so her skin sticks to it.
Yeah, and she starts ripping her skin off.
Has that ever been done in a horror movie?
I'm
gonna say it hasn't.
I don't remember it in a horror movie that I've seen.
Nasty, and then she rips her face off and runs.
The worst part is that's like technically possible.
Disgusting.
Because you know how you get like your finger wet and you touch an ice cube and it sticks to it or whatever? I couldn't imagine an actual deep, like a restaurant's freezer.
Deep freezer, yeah.
And just being soaked in water. Like, that's not impossible.
No,
I don't know if you would, like, rip your skin off like that. It was probably exaggerated a little.
Yeah.
But still. So she finally gets out, doesn't have her keys, but The killer has the keys and he's in the car. He starts the car. She starts running and tries to jump into the dumpster. And he mashes the dumpster with the car and slams that lid down, cutting her in half.
Right in half, guys.
Blood and absolute guts everywhere.
That was the first kill. It was
the first kill of the movie. And it was totally gruesome and brutal and gory. For the gore horror fans, this is a perfect movie for you.
Yeah.
There was so much gore in it. So, pretty good gore, too. Like, it looked fairly real. There were a couple moments that definitely looked fake, but it looked pretty good to me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so she's dead, and the killer puts her legs up on the store sign from the Black Friday incident. And then we finally get a conversation between Jessica and Bobby that I want to talk about. And he kind of explains a tiny bit in a way that why he ghosted them. Sort of. He didn't really, outright say, oh, I went here and did this and did that or whatever. He was just like, oh yeah, I disappeared because
I ghosted everybody.
I was depressed or whatever. And it wasn't just you, it was everyone, blah, blah, blah. And it was also kind of coincidental timing that he did return 1 year,
1 year later.
When the killings started happening. So that's a big reason, I suspected him from the beginning. He was number one suspect for most of the movie for me. Because we'll get to that part in a little bit. But the second victim was pretty gruesome too.
Who's second?
The security guard that ran away. The fat guy. So I heard Cicely at this moment. I heard, oh, please don't kill the cat. Because there's a cat. Its name is Tonic, by the way.
I was like, no.
And it said at the end of the movie, it said, special thanks to Tonic the cat. So
he was cutie.
Yeah. So this the security guard that ran away from the Black Friday incident at the beginning of the movie is our second victim. And he's already in the house, and he's messing with him and scaring him. He shoves one of those mashed potato
grinder stirrer thingies.
Yeah,
it's
one of the mixers.
Electric, yeah.
Right into his gut and turns it on, and you can hear it going, and it's ripping him apart. He takes a piano wire or something, wraps it around his throat, and just completely decapitates him with this piano wire thing.
Just right like that.
Straight through. And, he's dead, of course, and blood's just everywhere.
Gushing.
And the cat is there looking at the killer, and the killer's about to, walk out of the apartment. And the funniest part of this movie, there wasn't too many comedy aspects to the movie.
Yeah.
But this was the funniest part of the movie, was the killer stopped, looked at the cat, and I heard you for a split second go, you thought he was going to do something to the cat. But then you were like, oh, he's going to feed the cat, isn't he? And that's exactly what he did.
Did you hear the cat hit the bowl?
Yeah.
He hit his little bowl because he was hungry. And then he poured food in and starts rubbing his head. Yeah.
So at least, even if you're a psychopath, you're not going to
Did you see the cat gag?
Huh.
The cat gagged.
Uh-uh.
And he almost threw up.
When?
While he was eating.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Me and Jesse were like, what the fuck?
I didn't see that.
It was funny.
But, so, they go to the crime scene and everything, but now we're at the police station. And, they're asking them if they know anything, if they could give us any information, because the littlest details can give them away, stuff like that. But then, after talking to Jessica and was it Bobby with her or Ryan, I forget who, they're reading the essays in class, and the first guy was just super cringe, and it was obvious that he was supposed to be cringy,
but
he said something about the only line of his essay that you heard was like, "That is why I will not celebrate this year, and I will never celebrate
ever again."
Ever again. And he throws his essay down.
And then he lifts his shirt.
And then the two girls sitting next to him are like grabbing his arms, like, "You're so brave.
You're so brave."
Blah, blah, blah. And then he lifts his shirt up and showing his six-pack off and like wiping his eyes. And
his name was Chad.
Chad, really?
Yes.
Anyway, the cringiest character in the movie was obvious that he was supposed to be cringy. And then it goes to Evan, I think his name. I'm pretty sure his name is Evan. Goes to Evan, who he paid, the nerdy kid, to write his essay for him.
Pay him.
Or he didn't pay him, but he said he was going to.
Yes, asked him to and then didn't pay him.
Right. He gave him his essay, he started reading it, and he got to the end, and she's like, "Wow, I really, really loved your essay. And I loved it even more when I wrote it on my blog."
Yeah.
So he's a month short on paying the kid for writing his essays, and he got him back. Should have just paid the kid.
Should have just paid him.
And this would all blown over. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
That was another comedic moment. But then all the kids are sitting around talking, discussing what's going on in the town and everything. And a stupid, corny, but really funny line was when Scuba goes, "We're going to end up 50% off." I thought that was like such a corny line, but it was so funny.
Actually, it was Evan who said that.
Was it Evan?
Uh-huh.
I thought it was Scuba.
No, because I was like, of course that guy would say something like that.
Yeah. But I thought
Scuba
it was super
funny,
like 80s corny.
We're going to end up 50% off.
It was like
because we didn't explain why they said that. The first kill, when she was in the dumpster, she got sliced in half. They put the bottom half of her body on top of the Right Mart sign and posted it on Instagram. Did you explain this though?
Not the Instagram part.
Put it on Instagram and said 50% off.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I didn't see the caption.
Yep, he said everything's 50% off, and her body was 50% off.
Okay, I didn't see the caption.
Yes,
I just saw the picture.
Yes.
But yes, it was a corny line, but it was kind of funny. It was like the funny cringe. But our third and fourth victim end up coming up after that, and that was pretty gruesome too.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a single kill in the movie that wasn't gruesome. So for how would you explain our third and fourth victim?
Remind me who they were.
What are their names? Do you remember anybody's name except Jessica, maybe? And
you just gotta remind me who it was.
I gotta think. What was their names? It was Lonnie and Lizzie were their names. I don't know why I couldn't remember their names.
I don't remember them saying their names that much, to be honest with you.
I just remember from the beginning because Lonnie was a jock that was screaming at the other ones because they're rivals or whatever. But obviously, Lonnie is like the football team captain or something and getting everybody to work out harder, stuff like that. And then his cheerleader girlfriend, made him, "Come on, let's go, let's go do things in the back or whatever." And they're
yuck at school. You guys are gross.
And he goes, "No sex, no sex."
Yeah.
And then so she's like, "Oh, it's fine. I'm just gonna tease you," which I thought was like
on the trampoline.
On the trampoline. So she gets on the trampoline, starts jumping, and like as she's taking her underwear off, John Carver twists his neck completely around, which is not physically possible.
Yeah.
But it was still pretty gruesome because he was still sitting on the edge of the stage.
Just
and
with his neck turned around.
Yeah, his body was still facing his girlfriend jumping on the trampoline, but his neck was looking the opposite direction. Yeah. And like the neck had bones sticking out. Yeah, that was pretty gross. And then He gets underneath the trampoline, shoves a knife right through her foot as she jumps down on it.
That was hard to fucking watch.
And people that have has stepped on a nail, just imagine a full ass knife going straight through your heel and into your ankle. I can't even begin to imagine. And then she bounces up again off the knife. And as she's coming down, he moves the knife over and it stabs her like in the chest or something.
Yeah, because she falls.
When she falls, yeah, and he just stabs her a couple times through the trampoline.
Disgusting.
Without her even seeing it. That's gross. So yeah, those were our third and fourth victims, which were also gruesome.
Yeah.
But it cancels the football game.
Everyone gets upset.
And Evan runs out on the field. I'm playing football. You can't play football alone, dumbass.
Yeah.
Like everyone in the theater was laughing at that too.
Yeah, that was a funny one.
But yeah, so the football game's canceled, and what's her name? Abby? Addison Rae from TikTok. That's
Addison Rae.
I think her name was Abby. Or Gabby or something.
Gabby.
Gabby?
Yeah.
Goes and gets her boyfriend, and they're going to change and everything. While the killer kidnaps both of them. And tries to kill Jessica. Well, she hid from him and actually escaped him. In pure Laurie fashion from Halloween. Gets away from the killer. And that's a pretty good achievement considering he's killed a bunch of people already.
Yeah, exactly.
And kidnapped 2 of your friends. So that's pretty good there. I thought the scene where they were going to get the gun was very funny and interesting.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, now, if you ever get caught with these, they're going to ask what you were doing with it or whatever. I forget how he explains it. And he opens up a guitar case full of
guns.
There was a Desert Eagle in there and all kinds of big guns in there. And then he goes over and presses on his radio, presses the eject button on his little stereo, and it opens up, and there's a
gun.
There's a 44 Magnum in there. He goes over to his bedpost and pushes on this thing, and an AR and a pistol come out. He had just guns stashed everywhere. I thought this scene was really funny. Yeah, it was ridiculous too.
That guy was in Freaks and Geeks.
Oh, was he?
Yep.
That's funny. But I thought that scene was funny, and they were, gearing up, to take him down or whatever. So, we also get our 5th victim of the movie, while he also kidnapped everybody at the same time. No, not yet. That's a little bit after.
Mm-hmm.
Our 5th victim, Yulia, who was apparently of Russian. Yeah, her dad was Russian, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But, they were going to run to Florida to get away from all this, but he ended up catching up to him before they left. And he disemboweled her on a table saw. Just completely cut open her guts.
That was disgusting.
It was gross. Just... and it was right in front of her boyfriend's face. Scuba.
Yeah.
Was her boyfriend. Just straight up.
Right in front of him. And he said, what do I do, Jess?
What do I do? He's just holding her dead body. He's like, what do I do?
He felt so bad for him.
He just sounds so sad and defeated.
Yeah.
He's like, what do I do? There's nothing he can do. I'm sorry.
Can't do anything.
It's just, that was, if not the most gruesome, it was definitely, it won't go lower than second gruesome kill out of this whole movie. Just a buzzsaw just ripping you open like that. Gross. Gruesome.
Disgusting.
But he also kidnaps the other kids. We found that out because he had the live stream or whatever.
Uh-huh.
He had it on his phone, showed him. But he was also very cocky at this point. and they were trying to make a trap for the parade, or it made the Thanksgiving parade into a trap. Little did they know that he was going to be in the parade.
Yeah.
The killer ended up being in a clown costume this time.
Instead of John Carver.
John Carver, right. And
creepy clown costume.
They set up the plan, said, "Oh, we're going to come to this warehouse. It's going to be empty. He's going to try to come kill you, but it'll be flooded with cops, blah, blah, blah." But he ended up killing Lionel, was his name? The turkey.
I don't know his name.
I think it was Lionel.
In the turkey costume.
He ended up decapitating this kid in a turkey costume.
In front of everybody.
In front of everyone in town. Kids, parents, everybody. In the middle of the parade. And then he threw some smoke grenades, which ended up getting him a 2-for-1 kill.
Yeah.
Because he slammed on the brakes for the float, and the ship came loose, and straight through the back of his head was the front of the boat. Just came straight through his face and his nose.
Disgusting.
Did you see his nose?
Yeah, I saw his nose.
It was gross, and blood was just spurting on his 2 daughters' faces sitting next to him in the truck. Little girls. That was gross.
That's so gross, and they were screaming. I felt so bad.
That might have been the #1 gruesome kill out of this movie. Right there. Because you just saw, the mask come straight through his face, and his nose just like almost fall off, basically. Like get ripped off of his face.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it was still attached. But, Jessica, Scuba, Jessica's parents, and yeah, it was just those people all get kidnapped. He shoots them with the dart gun, the killer. And then came probably the most disgusting scene of the movie, where he was preparing the stepmom.
That was so gross.
Okay, so this actual scene was creepy. He was like glazing her with
like butter
or whatever, like what you would glaze a turkey. Salt, pepper,
and you know what? She was smart about it. If she woke up, if I was in that situation and I woke up, I would shut my eyes.
Yeah. So she was smart about trying to get away. But she tried to escape, wasn't able to, and he ends up putting her in the oven and cooking her. Alive. And
just screaming.
Yep. That was disgusting.
That was awful to watch.
Yes.
Her toes, like,
burning.
Cook.
And yeah. Like, they actually did a pretty good job of showing, like, her body cook. It was pretty gross.
Disgusting.
Yeah. And then, so they wake up at the dinner table. All of them.
Scuba,
Jessica,
Gabby,
her dad, Scuba, Evan, and Gabby. They were all alive at this point. They're all waking up around the dinner table. He has the live stream going.
Yeah.
And he kills Evan on live stream. Just
smashes
beats his head in with that meat tenderizer hammer. Completely smashes his head, which was pretty gruesome too. You just saw an eye pop out and like his brains all over the table and stuff. It was gross. But then the worst part of this scene came at this moment, when he unveiled the stepmom in the shape of a turkey, just cooked.
Yep.
And
in the shape of a turkey.
In the shape of a turkey. And it's just this scene where they're just slowly being tortured. All of them. By, his head being smashed and the mom being unveiled and the dad just throwing up around his mouth gag and stuff. Like, the attention to detail in this...
I would have thrown up too.
Yeah. And he carves the stepmom, just a big chunk right out of her thigh.
That was disgusting.
Gross.
That was I almost gagged myself.
And it seems pretty realistic. I don't know. I've never cooked a person before, but like...
Disgusting.
It looked very gross. And they were just slowly being tortured at this moment by the killer. And then they escape, which was lucky.
Because Jess had a ring on that.
The ring that the gun guy gave her.
Yep, it popped up into a little knife.
And she cut her binds, cut Scuba's, and they escape. Well, Jess escapes. He almost cut Scuba's arm off. And she starts running, gets over the fence and starts running, and finds the sheriff knocked out on the ground and possibly dead. He had blood coming out of his head. So he wakes him up and sees the killer go into the warehouse or whatever.
Yeah.
So she takes the sheriff's gun, gets in there, and it was Bobby. Took the mask off. So Bobby was the killer the whole time?
At this point?
At this point in the movie. And I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. I kind of thought he was. Because they kind of took a little inspiration from Scream.
Uh-huh.
Where every time someone would get killed, then Bobby would show up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened in Scream.
Yeah,
someone would get killed, and then Billy would show up after that. So there was a little inspiration from Scream there. But then, soon after, they're chasing Bobby down and taking evidence and everything, Jessica notices a little detail. It's the same boots that the killer was wearing on the sheriff, also covered in the thorns that were on her pants from running through the woods.
Yeah.
The sheriff notices.
That she notices.
And he says, what did he say? He said something about noticing the little details or something.
Yep.
He locks the door and confesses the whole thing to her. Little did he know she was live streaming. She's like, I never told you what I was thankful for. The service in here. And showed him the live stream or whatever.
Yep. Caught in 4K.
Yep. So the sheriff actually did it.
Yeah, dude. And
pretty clever twist.
If you if you go back to certain parts of the movie, you can kind of figure it out. Like, they say that whoever is the killer has to be like military or police because of the stuff he has.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like a part of every plan.
Yep.
You know.
Like, they gave you the hints throughout the movie.
And they made it seem like it was the new sheriff because he was so like shady and quiet.
I did like him though.
Yeah.
But there was also a point earlier in the movie saying about the parade, and Jessica said, oh, my father forced me to load the musket like 600 times, just over and over again, and blah, blah, blah. And she ended up turning flammable gas on to fill up this giant turkey.
Yeah.
She ended up using her skills of knowing how to load a musket and blowing the hell out of that turkey and killing the sheriff, or killing, quotations, the sheriff with the giant flammable turkey. So,
quote killing.
Yeah, because he's one that we don't see a body, so we are not 100% sure. Dead. But it's a cool callback.
Zoom in on the firefighter.
Yeah.
Like he could have been him.
The callback was cool. How she said earlier how he forced her to load the musket over and over again. And it almost blew up on her and stuff like that. And then, like you said, it zoomed in on the firefighter. It could possibly be him, or it could have just been zooming in on the axe.
Yeah.
Whatever. But there was also the dream ending. Obvious that it was taken inspiration from Elm Street.
Yeah.
With the dream ending at the end where he grabs the mom and rips her through the door.
Uh-huh.
And that's kind of what happened at the end of this movie. The killer was in the closet, and he grabs her and starts choking her, but then she wakes up and looks at the closet door and it ends.
So she obviously has a lot of trauma from this.
Now, there was a post-credit scene. It wasn't anything, like, important.
It was a blooper.
It was like a blooper, yeah. It was just an extended blooper scene of an earlier scene in the movie, which was kind of funny. So if you want to stick around for it, go for it. There is something to look for. But I actually gave this a 7.5.
Okay.
Almost an 8. I kind of want to give it an 8 because I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good, very gory. The story was actually pretty solid. There weren't too many holes. There were one or two maybe, but like there wasn't anything like super leaky. And the acting was really, really good. Jessica, the main character, is actually in this show that I like on Disney Plus, this basketball show. It was like Big Shot or something.
Oh, shit.
John Stamos is the main dude in it, but she's the captain of the basketball team or whatever.
Oh, okay.
She's really good in that too. But
yeah, she did a really good job.
I thought the writing and directing and the shots were really good too. So I kind of want to give it an 8 actually. I think it's 7.5 to an 8, somewhere between that.
I'd give it around the same. I just thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be that good.
You know, it seemed like if you watch the trailer, it seems dumb.
Yeah.
It seems like it would be
really
a stupid
good, really
movie, but it
gory,
is really good. Yeah.
Really gory.
I'm glad that I got to see it on opening night too. So, since this is a new movie, I don't have too many fear facts. I only took 3 out of the 13.
Okay.
The other 10 were like mostly talking about the fake trailer that was made years and years ago.
Yeah.
So I just took the ones about the actual movie. For the first one of the first major theatrical films to have a TikTok star in the ensemble, considering Addison Rae had a noticeable role in the film.
Yeah.
The second one, Thanksgiving 2023, is set between the events of Halloween from 1978 and Silent Night, Deadly Night of 1984.
Oh, wow.
Yep, which is interesting. And the body count for my final fear fact is 12, being Amanda, Doug, an unnamed customer during the Black Friday riot, which was the guy that got his neck sliced. Lizzie, which would have been the cheerleader, I guess.
Yeah.
The other security guard. Oh, Lizzie was the cut in half dumpster girl.
Yes.
The other security guard during the riot. Lonnie. Amy, which was the cheerleader. Yulia. Lionel, the mascot. The driver of the Mayflower float, which is the boat through the head. Kathleen and Evan. Kathleen was the stepmom. And it was Evan. His name is Evan. And Eric's death is debatable, as the audience doesn't see him die.
Oh, wow.
So, I did kind of believe at first that that Bobby was the killer because of the fact that, like, not only was it pretty heavily implied, but like the height. He was a very short guy.
He's short.
So even though Ryan was, jealous and stuff, I really didn't think it was him because he was pretty tall.
He's a big boy.
Yeah. So Bobby and the sheriff were pretty similar heights.
Yeah.
I just thought it was tough to kind of hide that hair.
Yeah.
And the mask. And every time when you did see Bobby, he was like in his coverall. And he didn't have that black balaclava on. So I did think it was Bobby at first, but when
I thought it could have been the other sheriff. Because he was
Yeah, but he was super tall too.
Yeah, he is pretty tall.
So, the summary is that this movie is very good. Go see it. It's very enjoyable. It's a good Thanksgiving movie. It's better than our last year's Thanksgiving movie.
What was it?
Blood Rage.
Oh, God.
That movie sucked.
Oh, my God, that was so bad.
I know. But, yeah, so go out and enjoy the movie because it was a very good movie.
Really good. A lot better than I expected.
Go ahead and read next week's question for the listeners.
What was the name of Buffalo Bill's dog in The Silence of the Lambs?
If you know that, put it on the Facebook, message us, whatever.
Easy one. Come on, guys.
Yeah, it's an easy one. And we'll shout you out if you get it right.
Hell yeah.
And our next movie is... What is it?
Blood and Honey.
Oh, yeah. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. So we'll catch you next week on that one.
Yeah, gonna be an awesome one.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll catch you next week with Winnie the Pooh.
Thank you. Catch you later.